look kind of funny, but here I am. What's up? It's the Darlinator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of Rich Prater's random videos. I'm just going to go through this live right here, and I'm going to debunk everything that's said on it like I've been doing. I don't know where Rich has been for the last couple of months, but it seems like since I've been doing this, we haven't heard much from him. I'd like for you to come back and give us your input, Rich. I don't know what happened. But anyways, let me minimize myself and present. We are going to look at let's see here. We are going to look at, and we'll do this together. I haven't seen this, so let's see here. I've seen it, but I don't remember everything about it. Let's find out what's going on here. Dun-dun-dun.
Prater, I'll be your host today. We're on episode 16. We got a guest panel discussion today. We've got Tara back from the United Kingdom. She's decided to come along board today. I asked her to. And we also have...
Now, he refers to Tara as a forensics expert. I don't know what makes her an expert. I know she has a background in it, but I don't know what makes her an expert.
Of Mr. Weir. He's been a guest on the show before, and he has some interesting things that he wants to point out in some photographs. So he asked when he come on if he could go over some photographs of the crime scene and discuss them a little bit. And we've got our forensic gal here, Tara, who's going to help us right along with it. So with nothing more from me, what I'll do, Mr. Weir, I'll go ahead and get the first photo up, and you can fire away. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay, here we go, folks. It's all you, Mr. Weir.
Okay, so I guess I'll give a bit of a disclaimer, I guess, at the start, just so everyone kind of knows where I'm.
Why don't you tell us who you are, what you are? Don't start with the disclaimer. That's the worst way to get your point across is by starting with a disclaimer. No. Tell us who you are and what qualifies you to speak.
Coming from, because if they saw the episode that I was in August, then this might not make a lot of sense. So Tara and I have been discussing privately, and
okay, so the first thing is I need to make a disclaimer, and this might not make a lot of sense, and Tara and I have discussed privately. Okay.
She's kind of sent me a few things to look at as far as the case, and I've actually now changed my position. I was kind of on the fence before. I wasn't really sure what I thought about the whole scenario or what happened, but I have moved over to the innocent side. So essentially the first thing that kind of got me to look at the case again was the blood spatter on the shirt. And this is I think we just had the front of the shirt up. So the green dots are dots that are Darlie's blood, I'm fairly certain. And then the dots that are, I'm pretty sure the dots that are yellow are the ones that are Devin's, and then the ones that are orange are Damon's, because there's one on the back that's yellow, and there was only one speck on the back of the shirt that belonged to Devin. So essentially what got me looking at the case again was you can see that some of these blood drops are actually mixed. So on the front of the shirt, there's a mixture of Darlie and Devin and Darlie and Damon on a few different places. So kind of where this got me thinking to, and this is something that Tara brought up, Tara said to me, okay, you have to look at this. Her and Devin and her and Damon are all bleeding at the same time. So we know that for a fact when we look at the DNA testing that was done here. She couldn't have stabbed them and herself before planting the sock because there was no blood outside the house.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything, and that's what we think that she did. No, there's no couldn't have. There is a high possibility and a probability that that's exactly what she did, was attack Damon twice.
So we know that. And she couldn't have done it afterwards because they weren't attacked twice. I mean, some people say that Damon.
No, you can't prove that she wasn't attacked twice, and it looks like he was, because he crawled 25 feet away from where he was originally stabbed at, and her footprints and blood prints, her blood drops and blood splatter, her blood drops are right around him. It's as if he was crawling away from her.
Damon was attacked twice, but that wasn't confirmed, and no one that I believe has said that.
Yeah, that's not proof. That was actually.
Yeah, it was not. The only reason it wasn't proven is because no one was there to see it. But it looks that way.
Actually,
just like there was an intruder. Yeah, they haven't proven that there was an intruder.
Prosecution's like a part of their theory to make her look guilty.
But no one said that Devin was attacked twice, and he's actually his blood is mixed in there too.
No, so Devin, we don't claim that Devin was attacked twice. Remember, Darlie sliced her throat with that knife, and then she goes back after Damon with it. And if the blood, if she's slicing her throat, it's got Devin's blood on it, and then that drop gets off onto her, you have mixed blood onto her from dropping off the knife.
Either way, before or after, it doesn't fit. So that was kind of.
But you don't say how it doesn't fit. Tell us how it doesn't fit. When
Tara, set out this theory for me, I kind of thought, oh well, that's strange. This doesn't really. This almost seems impossible that this happened. So then I started to look into some of the other photographs, and when you start to look at the photographs, kind of how.
Arcology.
What's the author's name? The one that wrote that book, Precious Angels.
Okay.
That was Barb Davis.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and see, here's the thing. She's supposed to be an expert in this case, and he's going, what's that author's name that wrote the book? Anybody that's pretty much an expert in this case would know that that's Barbara Davis. You would know it.
I listened to an interview of hers not too long ago, and she said that I know that she makes a lot to do with the photographs of her injuries, but another thing that's not talked about so often is that she also talks about seeing all of the photos in their entirety and, picking up things that she missed with this new critical eye, and that's kind of where I was led with the rest of the photos.
Actually, Barbara Davis said she did not see all of Exhibit 52, which was, she speaks about them in her book, but she doesn't say anything about Exhibit 52, which were the pictures of Darlie in the gray shirt and shorts at the Rowlett Police Department 4 days later. She says she didn't see any of those. Now, this gentleman is saying that she saw all of them and she went back with the keen eye.
As well. So let anyone jump in that wants to.
Go ahead, Tara. I think it's important to. I promised Mr. Weird next time he come on the show that I would give him good talk time, because I felt as though I interrupted him too much the first time he was on the show. So I promised him I wouldn't do that again.
The thing of it is, you haven't given us what's his qualification to be speaking. Is he just where does he come from?
So, Tara, go ahead. Your thoughts?
This basic. It's just the same as what Trevor said. That's how I sort of got insight onto the innocent side, because the more and more the more pictures I looked at, the more crime scene evidence I looked at, the more and more like it's implausible what they're saying. It's completely implausible.
Well, completely implausible is a large step away, because you and I both made the same mistake. You said you begin to look at the case and look at the pictures and look at the evidence, but you also said that the police dog walked up to the sock and stood solitary, and that was proof to you that a car had picked them up. That's something you said.
And it's not that, like people say about, it's a possibility. Listen, everything's a possibility, but not everything's a probability. Like, not.
If it's possible, then it's probable. Anything that is possible is probable. Could someone do that? Possibly. Probably. Did they do that? Did they commit that crime? Possibly. Probably.
Not everything's probable. You see what I mean? So you sort of have to rein it in a bit, because some people go so far you know, beyond imagination. You know, some of the non-supporters, some of the stuff they come out with, it's like it's beyond the evidence. I mean,
Well, I'll give us a shot. Give it. Let's see what you're talking about here.
all you have to do is look at the actual evidence, and the evidence tells you certain things.
But
You
what the evidence needs to tell us is so and so intruder came into this house and committed this crime. That's what it doesn't tell us. That's what it needs to tell us in order to, you know, have actual innocence.
know, they just go so far beyond. Oh, she did this, that, and the other, but there's no.
Yeah, well, name something. See, this you guys keep saying that every video that I've done a reaction with Rich on, they keep saying we do this, we do this, we do this, we do that, but they never give a fucking example. Never.
Proof behind it. Whereas what Trevor's saying, it's physical evidence. There's proof behind it. You can.
There is no proof behind that. There's no proof how that blood got mixed in there. She should have no blood of Devin and Damon's on her shirt. She didn't get down and do CPR.
See it in the pictures. So, but I'm quite glad that he's come to the side of innocence, and he's sort of seen, you know, what we see in the pictures.
Well,
Because go ahead, Rich.
I'm sorry. One thing that I'll definitely give Mr. Weir credit for, you know, when he started talking to me and we were talking about the case, he was in no hurry whatsoever to take anybody's side. He wanted to look at the evidence and view it for himself and, you know, draw conclusions from there, which I respect. I respect that. That is the absolute right way to do it. And to come up with a conclusion with this case in any way takes a long time because there's a lot of stuff to look at with this case. So you definitely did the right thing, Mr. Weir, by doing that. And I'm glad you did it that way. The only thing I would add to this picture, something that really caught my eye, and this is the front of the shirt, as it was mentioned.
Oh.
I did a test myself in my own kitchen because I have the replica knife set that Darlie Lynn had in '96. Okay, so with that very knife, I did my own blood splatter check and stuff like that. But I didn't use blood. But what I did use.
Let me listen to what he's saying here. We'll go back just a second.
Because I have the replica knife set that Darlie Lynn had in '96. Okay, so with that very knife, I did my own blood splatter check. And
okay, here's a guy who told us in a video. If you go back and look at my reaction videos, he told us that he was trained by some of the world's best private investigators, the people that went in to work on the JFK assassination. Rich actually told us that his team found a fingerprint on the box in the sixth floor school book depository. That his team, but I know that that's not correct. But he said that he's been trained by the world's best investigators, right? Then why are you calling this blood splatter? It's blood spatter. And if you're trained by some of the world's best, you would know that.
And stuff like that. But I didn't use blood. But what I did use, about the only thing I had handy at the moment that I did it, was I used like a thin base marinara sauce. Now, other than making a hell of a mess in my kitchen, I can tell you that...
I can tell you right off the rip that marinara sauce has an oil base on it.
You know, with the knife flying, I had a hell of a lot more blood that went on me than what this shirt does. Of course, or should I say sauce. So that was one thing that I noticed that was kind of strange. And then I did the test as far as what Tom Bevel said with the knife. If you got a bleeding wound or if there is blood dripping off the knife, how the blood drops will hit the floor. So I did that, and to see if it's got the tails. It shows the trajectory or which way you might be moving when the blood actually hits the floor. And so I did a little bit of that as well. But like I said,
You have to remember that marinara sauce is not a complete liquid, and it does have solids in it. It has matter in it because it has flavorings like the tomato and garlic, and it's not a full liquid. It is. He'd have to have done it with a liquid.
It really just kind of made a mess and was nasty. But I just had to see things for myself. Another thing on this shirt, if you notice at the top right-hand side of the collar of the nightshirt, you're going to see pooling of blood there. And you also see that on the reverse side as well. But let's not forget that Darlie Lynn neck was slit on the opposite side and then down, kind of like over to another stab wound in her upper chest area. So what that indicates to me is that she had to be a little bit on her left side in order for that blood to run and get to that location. Then obviously the blood that's running.
Yeah, but when was she on her left side? When Darlie was asked to draw a picture of the way she was when she woke up, she drew a picture of herself on her back. And even James Cron said, she didn't draw any eyes on that picture, because the eyes are the window to the soul. But if asked what position she was laying in, Darlie tells that she is lying on her back. She even draws a fucking picture. But these people still want to say she was slightly to her left.
Coming down the front of the shirt would have occurred when she was up and calling 911, running towels from the sink to the boys, and so on and so forth. Just
running towels from the sink to the boys, but not getting a single cut on her feet, running right through that broken glass.
Pandemonium of it. So that's about the only thing I want to add to this particular photograph.
It's like Stephanie Hopkins says about gravity.
Yeah.
Blood works with gravity. That's even how the whole subject of blood spatter analysis has come about, because of the fact that.
That's how Tara said it the correct way. Blood spatter analysis.
That it works with gravity. It works with motion. You see what I mean? So as soon as she gets up, that's when it starts pouring down the front of her. Because You've got to think as well, not only, they say about, the adrenaline was rushing,
so
your heart is rushing, your heart is
so what have they got? What are they proving here?
beating really fast. And obviously, as soon as you stand up and start walking or running or whatever you're doing, your heart starts to beat faster.
Yeah, they did use a pig's blood.
That's pushing more of the blood out as well.
Right.
So the minute he stands up, that is the blood, it just goes downwards.
She's correct.
So the fact that it's on the back of, seeping onto the back of her shirt and falling at the back onto her pillow tells me she was lying on the pillow on the sofa. There's nothing complicated about it.
It's common sense is the way I look at it. And I really like how Stephanie Hopkins does that. I told her that I've promoted her videos several times on here. Stephanie's a great gal. She really is. And she's very, 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 very passionate about the case, and she's very close to Darlie Lynn and her family. And she has really stayed close and in tune with this case. She knows a lot about it, and but she don't like to debate it. She don't like to debate this case. I think I understand why, because it can get
right. She says that she was laying on her back. The boy's blood should not be on her back at all. There's no reason for it, no explanation for it, no nothing for it. Shouldn't be there at all. No reason for it.
The debate state. Yes, it gets personal. That's exactly correct. I mean, you really got to watch. I mean, I gotta give Mr. St. John a whole bunch of credit, because when he was in here last time with us, Tara, I thought he was about as respectful as anybody could be in here.
Yeah, no, definitely. I still don't I don't know, like with our conversation, I still don't think he came up with anything that proves that she did it. I mean, I asked him, why do you think she did it? And the only thing he could come up with was Robert Resnick's theory that doesn't even match.
No, that's not the only thing that I came up with. I didn't come up with it because of Resnick's theory. I told her exactly why I thought she did it. Because I supported it, right? And I thought that she was innocent. And the reason that I thought that she did it is because her family continued to lie behind the scenes. And they would say one thing in public and one thing, another thing, something different behind the scenes. And I noticed that. And that's basically why I said, because, they started to lie. And once they started to lie, that's when I changed my mind. She knows what I said.
Darley. So
I actually think that he made quite a few concessions in that debate, because I didn't watch the entire thing live, but I watched probably half or 2/3 of it live, and it really seemed like he was on the defensive.
To watch that particular episode, unfortunately, you need a half a day to watch it. So
it was a bit of a long one.
We were over 5 hours, but which I really hate doing that, but we were into it pretty deep, and then me and Brian kind of got on some tangents about things that aren't even necessary to this case. But I mean, I know Mr. St. John, so I mean, I had. I've talked to him off and on for a long time. So, and he's always been great with me, even though we don't agree on this case. And I wish we could have more of that.
Okay. I'm going to finish this later.